It's Saturday the 13th of June and this most definitely is not the news in 60 seconds. There's been no news worth reading in the newspapers for the last 2 days, so I thought I'd do something a little different. As a licensed tour guide here in Qatar, pre-COVID-19 I used to spend a lot of time in Souq Waqif, and I thought I'd give you a quick run through my 45-minute perimeter tour while everything is closed down as a precautionary measure. So our tour used to begin here. The coaches would drop us off in the lay-by, which is directly in front of where we are now. We'd get dropped there and then we would walk through a large open space that once upon a time was a car park. Now what they've done I don't know what they're doing, they've boarded it all up. And as we walk around the outside here, what we're looking at now looks like arches, looks like a building. It's not. That's actually painted. That's just a gypsum board, if you like, a wooden board, which is boarding up the area which used to be the large open space to our right. We would normally walk through that, but we can't at the moment, so we're going to walk around the outside. So there's a wooden door here now, but obviously that didn't used to be there. We would just be walking in from an open space, which was the car park. We'd walk in, we'd turn right, we'd go up this ramp, and then we'd go straight ahead, straight towards the main thoroughfare. So as we emerge into the main thoroughfare of Souq Waqif, this is where I would stop and I would explain to my guests, I would tell them where the police station is, I would tell them in the event that we got separated and there was a problem, the police station, which is directly ahead of us there, that's where we would meet if there was any issues. If they got lost, just ask for the police station, someone would always be able to take them there. And that's it, we would be on our way, we would start walking. And I would explain to everybody that later in the day, when they have their own free time to walk around Souq Waqif and discover it for themselves, this is where they would find me. I would always explain that when they have their free time, that this tree is where I would be found if they needed me while they were having their own walk around. So this tree is where all the tour guides, without exception, would stop and have a nice cup of chai and a chapati, a sandwich. This is where we would take our break. It's a bit sad for me to be seeing it all closed down like this, because obviously I have some very fond memories hanging out in that area there. So we can see the Fenar building in the distance, and we can also see on our right here more of that boarded up area. So normally what you're looking at, these arches that you're seeing here, these aren't arches, these are painted, they're on wood. Normally that whole area to the right there would be open space, like a large car park, just like you're seeing in front of you now actually. But it's all boarded up at the moment, I don't know why. And then we would turn left and we would head down through the spice market. So this is all boarded up now, it's all covered and not open, but normally as you walk down here, the smell of the spices, it's just, I can smell it in my imagination. So this is the spice market, and we would walk through here and pop out the other side in the pet souk area. So this is the pet souk, And normally these cages would be full of rabbits, birds, cats, you name it, all kinds of pets. And I did have to make it very clear to guests that they were pets, not for eating. These were for petting. Okay, so these cages to our left and to our right would normally be filled with live animals, and then we'd reach this point here and swing a left, and as we turned left here, this is one of my favorite eating locations. So of an evening you would quite often find me sat in this area here having some nice barbecue and a soft drink, and watching the world go by. Once again, very nostalgic for me, because this restaurant, which I can never pronounce, Shuja restaurant, is my favorite restaurant. So I told you, underneath the tree, that's where we go for our chai and for our chapati. But Shuja restaurant, this is where we would come and hang out and have our barbecue food and a nice soft drink. And for my guests, this is where I would show them the bathrooms, I'd show them the toilets, and explain that this is their last opportunity to have a bathroom break before we head off and complete the rest of the tour. So I'm going to come out of Warp Drive around about here, because on our left this is where the camels would be. So normally when we arrived at this point, the pen that you can see on your left here, it would be full of camels. Now things are looking a little bit different to the last time I was here. The first thing is there are no camels, although I'm sure there's going to be in the future. And they've built these arches, they've built shaded areas that weren't there before. The last time that I was at this exact location was with a tour, and they were just starting to prepare the ground for this work. So this used to just be an open pen with no features, and inside you would have, I don't know, 20 camels. Very expensive, very nice looking camels, I have to say. And they've built these arches. You can see these arches, this shaded area for the camels, which is rather nice. So that's new. I haven't seen that before, and I'm looking forward to seeing this area with camels inside it once more. It's going to be really nice. And there's fans there as well. Look, lovely. So once more into Warp Drive, Warp Factor 9, and we zip off up this ramp on our right. Oh, we're just going to have a quick look around. There we go, just to familiarise yourself, and then up through this gap next to the hotel. And once I get up here, I'm going to have a quick look back again to show you the way we've just come. And then we're going to head down here, and this is where I would normally stop, and I would explain to my guests about some of the architectural features. So you can see the wooden beams that are sticking out of the building on your right, high up, and I would explain all about those beams, why they're there, why didn't the craftsman cut them off and make it all look nice and neat. So I'd explain all of that at this point, and then I would tell them that we're about to enter the stables. And I would recommend to them to be very cautious in the stables, because although these horses are very pretty, they're very bad tempered, and they're going to try and take a chunk out of you at any opportunity that they get. So we're just arriving at the stables now, and just before we turned right and walked into the stables, I would be warning everybody, by all means go and get your selfies with these horses, but be very careful, because these horses will try and take a lump out of your arm. And then when we pop out the other side of the stables, we end up in this beautiful garden which has got this lovely waterfall and some outstanding views of the Amiri Diwan in the background. So this is somewhere that we would take a break. We would stop here for just a couple of minutes while everyone got some nice photographs of the Amiri Diwan or West Bay, and then we'd get ready to head off again, and our next stop is going to be the Falcon Souq. So we head back through the stables now. Warp factor 9 again, here we go, zoom. So we fly through the stables again, and when we pop out the other side, we're going to be in the Falcon Souq, and that's where I would start explaining to everybody about falconry in Qatar and why it's so popular, and I would be briefing them, explaining to them what they're about to see when we enter the Falcon Souq. So here we are arriving at the Falcon Souq, and normally this courtyard that you're looking at here, you can see that there's blocks of wood in the sand in the center, or well, you can when I turn my camera around and show you that, but normally there would be lots of falcons here. So people who were coming to the Falcon Souq with their falcon, perhaps they were going to the hospital, perhaps they were going to get some supplies, they would park their falcon on one of these perches in the middle of this sandy area in the middle here, so that you would see lots of birds just parked on their perches in this central area here. And what we're looking at now is a cafe, a beautiful cafe, which once again I've spent some great time sat there enjoying a nice drink, watching the world go by in the Falcon Souq area. And as I pan round here, we can see the Falcon Souq, the Falcon Hospital. So the building on our left here is the Falcon Hospital, and it's the second largest falconry hospital in the world. The largest is in the UAE, but that's because they've got more sick birds than us. We don't talk about that. So the Falcon Hospital, the Souq Waqif Falconry Hospital, is on the left now, and this is the entrance on the left. And you're allowed to go in. If you want to go in here, you can. You're very welcome to just wander in. They've got a visitor centre inside. There's lots of dead birds on show in there. It's a bit like KFC, so lots of dead birds for you to see. Oh, there's a handsome guy in the reflection. Yeah, handsome, nice hat. So you can go in there, and then we would normally go into this bird centre, this door here into the bird centre. We would go in there and we would see lots and lots of falcons, lots of birds, and I would be explaining about the pricing of birds and what the birds are doing in there, why, what sort of people would be going there to buy their birds. And then we pop out into the main car park area again. And I'm just going to swing my camera around. When I say my camera, I mean my phone. So I'll swing my phone around, and there's the other side of the bird centre. That's where we would come out. And I would now explain to people that they now have their own free time. They can either stay with me and come with me to where I'm going, but they are now free, and they could, if they wanted to just take a wander around the souk, this is where they could start their own time from. So some people are going to be heading off on their own personal adventures at this point, and perhaps they're going to go and check out the textile souk or the perfume souk, or maybe they're going to go back to the spice market, or maybe they'll go to the crafts and arts section. I don't know, but they're free to do what they want to do. And what I'm doing is I'm heading back to where we started our tour. I'm heading back to the location which is where my tree is, which is where my favourite restaurant with the chai and the chapatis are. That's where I'm heading right now. The car park on the right, well, it's not a car park. Well, there is a car park. There's a car park underground, but that used to be an above car park. And before it was a car park, it was a cemetery, believe it or not. So the area on the right now would have been a cemetery many, many years ago. So this would be a 45-minute perimeter tour. We would have gone all the way around the outside. In the doing so, we would have passed through the spice market. We'd have gone through the pet souq. We would have gone and seen the camels. We would have gone to the stables, and we would have seen the Arabian horses in the stables. Then we would have gone to the Falcon Souq. Oh, there's our golden thumb again. So you can see we've gone round in a full circle to our golden thumb. And there's the police station again, and I would be explaining for those people that need the toilet now, the bathrooms, where those two gentlemen are just coming out of there, that's where the toilets are. So I would explain anyone who needs the bathroom, head down there. And if anyone would now like to come and join me for a cup of chai underneath my tree at my favourite chai cafe, they're very welcome to do it. And I'd always happily buy anyone a cup of chai if they haven't got any currency to do it with. So there you go, there's our tour. That would take normally 45 minutes to zip around the outside, taking in the spice, the pets, the camels, the falcons, and then back to this location here. So a little bit, something a little bit different to the news, which I normally read every morning, but in the absence of any news, I thought I'd give you a spin around Souq Waqif instead. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully Souq Waqif will be open to the public again on phase 3, which I think is August 1st. I look forward to seeing you all back here then on August 1st, when this is going to be full of people again, vibrant, with social distancing, of course, and precautions. I'll see you all soon. Take it easy. Bye-bye.